Hello and welcome to another episode of SqEngineering Engineering. I'm Sprutis and we are continuing this exactly where we left off in the last episode, which was recorded yesterday. And what we need to do first of all is to make the bracket for the fuel filter, because then we can determine the length of the feed line and then maybe pressure test them and mount them for good. So I will get changed and get ready. We are back on the GoPro. I'm using my 9 as well. I don't want to get my Hero 11 dirty, but anyway, the old fuel filter and bracket, and in order to keep this simple, we will be using the same material that I used for the other brackets. So I will cut out a strip of this and try to shape it into something that I can use. At first I thought that the width here was enough, but it's not. So I will just cut the strip basically like this, and the length of this is long enough to fit this mount, so then I can drill 2 holes and screw it down. So I think I will do this. I might do this like 1 centimeter wider than it needs to be, just so I can shape some edges for reinforcement, so it's not just a piece of steel sticking out completely. So I will take care of that with the angled grinder and then get back to you. So we have this plate. Maybe it's a bit hard to see, but there are a few lines. So I've marked out some holes. First we have the 2 original fuel filter bracket holes, and then next to the T-split for the brake lines there is another mounting hole which I want to utilize. So I'll do a bit of drilling and then get back to you. So I have been cutting and drilling and shaping a bit, and I had to test fit it and work out how I want to make the lines and so on, if it's possible, etc. So now it's your turn to have a look. So here is then, you can see the fuel filter, and I think that will work quite good. And then from underneath, at least you see the body of the fuel filter. So 150 degree wrap around above the differential and out. So I also adjusted the ventilation pipe a little. So I will mark where to cut the hose and then get started on that. I cut myself, and that means that I removed my fuel filter bracket. I think it came out quite good. I will need to grind down the edges and so on, but this was just so that I could size up the hoses. So I now know where to cut the AN8 line. The AN6 will not be cut, and how to route the hoses. So that's perfect. So in case you want to find out how I go about fixing or installing the hose ends, I need a hose end first. At first I used this one to cut the hose to avoid any debris getting inside the hose, which can be a pain to clean out. But we have our hose end. So we have, first of all, the thing that tightens everything, the nut. We get that on the hose first. So after cutting, it will have a bit odd of a shape. Not odd, it will be oval. But we get that one on, then we can forget about that. Then we have this, the olive, and this one needs to go on the Teflon hose only. So we have Teflon hose, stainless braided sleeve, and then nylon braided sleeve. And then we have the fitting itself. So this one can actually be used to shape the Teflon hose first. We can also use a screwdriver or something, but we will use a small flat head to pry out the stainless and nylon braid, just so that we can get the olive on. I'm just trying to shape it a bit. But also this plier, since the outside edge is rounded, we can sort of get that in. We need to be careful so that we don't puncture the hose or anything like that. We're just utilizing it to get back the round shape. So now we can get that in, but that's just for test fitting. Now comes the step that can be a bit tricky. One of the reasons why I'm going with nylon on the outside is because it's nicer to work with. It will be easier to route. You don't get all the puncture wounds, but that's part of easier to work with. I've seen some pictures online where they are quite aggressive or have been aggressive with this Teflon, with fraying out the stainless braid. I will fix this and get back to you. So as you can see, it's starting to get in there, but you can also see that I haven't been really fraying it that much. I will now put this against a flat surface, or at least a hard surface, so I can push it in. So we only go until the Teflon hose bottoms out in the olive. I also want to make sure that it looks at least. Like so. Then we need some engine oil. So we have some engine oil. What we want to do is lubricate the pipe, the threads, and that's it. So I usually sacrifice the zip tie, so I don't need to do too much, but make sure that it's something that's clean. You don't want to get any debris in the threads or anything like that. But you don't need to overdo it with engine oil either, or whatever oil you're using. Now we can insert the fitting, and again push. Like so. And I don't think any braid will come in contact with the threads. And we already have oil on the threads, so we get the nut up to the threads, and we want to start it by hand. Make sure that we're not cross threading or have some problems. So I would put it in the vise now with the protective thingamajiggies, and then use my expensive AN crescent wrench and install this until the gap between the nut and the body, or the other end, the gap is only 1 millimeter, and you're done. I'll be back. So I finished the feed hose, sorry. So straight AN8, and in the other end we have a 180 degree going to the fuel rail. I don't think it's ideal to have one line going all the way, but I will start with this. I also finished the return hose coming from the ethanol content sensor all the way to the subframe, where we have this 90 degree end, and then I will have a male adapter, and then basically just a straight hose going to the fuel tank, the return in the fuel tank. I also did the feed, so from fuel tank to filter, so 150 degree going into the filter. The length is not determined yet, so that will need to be determined later. And also here is the AN6 going from the male to the fuel tank. Those two are not really critical because they will be smaller and easier to get to. These, on the other hand, are a bit tricky, so I wanted to finish them, so in case I get an opportunity to pressure test them somewhere, then I can just come to the garage, pick them up and go. But I would probably do it myself the next time I'm in the garage. Yeah, so pressure testing, cleaning, installing. I'm happy with the fuel filter bracket. It's yeah, it's actually in the right orientation. but the bracket needs to be finalized, grind down some edges and make it look a bit nicer, but I'm really happy with the way it turned out. So also something to do the next time, like I don't have enough things to do. Maybe it's visible, but or maybe it's not, but I'm super tired, my head is pounding, I haven't slept enough, but I wanted to get a jump start on the fuel system now that I'm not overloaded at work anymore, which I think we accomplished this week. So I've actually been here, let's see, it's Thursday, so 4 days. That's it's been a long time since I spent this much time in the garage, and that shows. It's if you only do 1 day per week, it's sort of, you always have this slow start, and it's annoying. And also 1 time per week can easily get 1 time per 2 weeks, etc., etc. So it's good to have like a schedule. But on the other hand, it shouldn't go that far that it becomes a must. If it becomes a must, then it's something you really have to do, and then it gets annoying, because this is supposed to be fun. That's why we're doing this. Fun and learning at the same time, and exploring a bunch of different things. Yeah, so hopefully I was able to be a bit more active with a GoPro and talking with you guys. As you know, this channel is also about me learning stuff, not only to show you stuff, but I want to evolve as well. So I don't know. Let's end this here. Thank you very much for watching. Please comment, like, and subscribe. Stay safe. Take care. Bye-bye.